Thanks, Gregor. Afternoon, Connor. Obviously, no goalie ever wants to get pulled. What's the process like after that happens for you for the rest of the game, and how did you, assess what happened last night in the first period?
Well, it was a 3-2 game, and I don't think I should have been pulled. That's as far as I'll go on that.
We'll go next to Paul Friesen from the Winnipeg Sun. Go ahead, Paul.
Not surprised to hear you say that, the competitor you are, Connor. Do you express those views to the coach, and do you guys talk it out, or how does that work?
Yeah, I wanted to know how competitive I am and how much I want that, I mean, I don't think they were bad goals last night. Do I want some of them? Of course. You look at my entire career, I want a lot of those goals, but all I can do today is learn from it, get better, and be better for tomorrow.
We'll go next to Jason Bell from the Winnipeg Free Press. Go ahead, Jason.
Yeah, Connor, you're obviously not conceding that last night was an off night, and so I'm just wondering though, if they've been few and far between. I mean, how anxious are you to return to the crease, and what's the mindset like if and when Paul calls on you again, when he does?
It's kind of the same as every night, is prove my worth, give this team a chance to win, and have fun out there. When stuff like this happens, it's easy to forget that this is a game and that we're having fun playing it, and fans enjoy watching it. So I think it's easier with fans around, that kind of reminds you that we're having fun out there and everyone's enjoying it. But I got to make sure I'm having fun out there.
We'll go next to Mike McIntyre from the Free Press. Go ahead, Mike.
Connor, I realize you're in the crease, but you have a good view of all this. Seems like you guys, that being the Jets, have been on the wrong end of some questionable hits here lately. Blake gets concussed last night, of course. Matthew Pro takes the shot from Thornton, and Adam gets injured by Galchenyuk. Just what's your take on that? I mean, do you feel that your guys are being targeted? Do you feel that the league maybe needs to do a bit more to protect some of these headshots from happening?
Yeah, I definitely think the league could really keep a keen eye on it, but it's a little bit unlucky. And the style of game we play, teams know they have to come and they have to try to answer the bell to the strong game we play. So sometimes they're not capable of doing it, and they do cheap shots like that. Sometimes it's an accident, and it's not great to see, because you want all these guys to be healthy, and we do a pretty good job of not doing that to other teams. But it's not one of those things that there's an answer for it. It's a collective group thing that everyone needs to make sure that they are aware, and when they're on the ice, they're aware that things like that shouldn't happen.
We'll go next to Sarah Lesky from TSN. Go ahead, Sarah.
Hey, Connor, you've always said, regardless over the years, after an off game, that you're confident in your game and where it's at. Do you deal with a game like that, though, any differently now than you would have earlier on in your career?
Maybe a little bit, just because I have more experience. But I mean, like I said, I don't think last game was an off game. I felt fine in the net. I'm not going to lie and say I was A+ material, but I thought the game that I had was good enough to win, and it was only going to get better if I was given the opportunity to grow in that game. That's as far as I'll go on that.
We'll go next to Kelly Moore from 680 CJOB. Go ahead, Kelly.
Hey, Connor, your good friend Jack Campbell had mentioned, I think, after the game last night, that he'd gone through a little bit of inner turmoil or whatever to get away from putting too much weight on himself for when things didn't go according to Hoyle, and become a little bit more comfortable with rolling with the punches. Were you ever at that position where Jack was, and how far ago was that where you are able to just kind of turn the page and go on to the next game? Do you remember when that happened for you?
I always kind of had the mindset that I have now. And maybe that separates me from other goaltenders, just the way we handle that kind of stuff. But I mean, Jack went on such a good stretch there, and I don't think he should have been pulled against us. I think it was a 3-1 game, and I don't think those goals were his fault. It's easy in that environment to be hard on yourself, and I know how he is too. He's extremely competitive and he cares a lot about the team, so I get where he's coming from on that. But at the end of the day, you gotta be the rock back there, and I think I've realized that from Joe Clark in my junior days, that guys feed off your emotions.
Final question to Jason Bell from the Free Press. Go ahead, Jason.
In a game like that, Connor, when there's 3-on-6 shots, the reaction from fans, media is that it's a horrible night. But do we not give the shooter enough credit? Or what did Matthews does on the first shot, the play Simmons makes on the second shot, the deflection on the third shot? I mean, are those factors is that why the factors you take into account when you think your game was still right?
Well, exactly. And let's say I did finish the game and they had somewhere around 30 shots, and you're looking at 3 goals and 30 shots. You're not panicking. You're not saying, "Oh, what a horrible game." Like, is there places to improve? Yes, but at the end of the day, did you give your team a chance to win? And that's all you can ask for. And unfortunately, it came in the first period, especially with the new NHL. Like, this is smaller equipment. You're gonna get bad bounces once in a while. You just gotta accept it and try to improve from it. Like, if you look at a full game, it's not that big of a deal, but it's just the fact that it happened in the first 6 shots is probably what made it such a big deal.